Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Hutch here, and we're on Module 11, Lesson 3. And this is all about angle relationships and parallel lines. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. It says, I can use the relationship between angles to find measures. Like I've said before, this is one of my favorite modules because it's really like a puzzle once you start understanding all these rules about angles and their relationships with each other. Okay, so first thing that you have to understand is we need to always be identifying some things that we notice. Okay, so remember the right angle symbol looks like this. When we have a perfect addition symbol, those are perpendicular. So that's old information all the way back from elementary school. The symbol for that is, you would say, line L is perpendicular, and that's the symbol for perpendicular to line M. Okay, and so just be aware of that, just a little bit of review. Okay, let's move on to this. This is called parallel lines, and when we have a line that is intersecting those two, that is called a transversal. So here's what I want you to notice. Here's my parallel lines, okay, and then my transversal is this that goes through the parallel lines. So for these little tricks to work, okay, or these rules to be true, you have to have parallel lines and you have to have a line going through those parallel lines. But realize also that sometimes that line might just go here and stop. It may be a line segment or array. And those rules will still apply. It doesn't necessarily go all the way through, but it does have to intersect with those parallel lines. You can see the symbol for parallel is, line S is parallel to line T. Okay, and so that's how that works. Okay, all right. We use the arrows within the line to show that they're parallel. So you might actually see them like this more commonly than filled in like that, but that means the two lines are parallel. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look and get into this. The first thing that I need you to understand, we've talked about this before a little bit. So remember, interior means the ones on the inside, and exterior, just like the word exhale, means out. Okay, so those outer angles. So anything in between the parallel, so please grab your highlighter right now, everyone do this, and I want you to just sort of shade in between the parallel. When you're shading in between the parallel, these are the interior angles, anything within that. Okay, so what are the interiors? We have angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6. Okay, now exterior are everything on the outside. So still, I want you to only shade the inside the parallel. That allows you to see the exterior. Okay, so we obviously have angle 1, angle 2, angle 8, and angle 7. So get that written down. Let's move on. Okay, all right, now when we have parallel lines cut by a transversal, okay, and remember, here's our parallel, and the transversal is the line that intersects with the parallel lines. Okay, and it could go all the way through or partially through. Okay, all right. So there's some rules or things that are true. Okay, and your vocabulary is up here, and we'll go ahead and talk about this vocabulary. Okay, and try to simplify it a little bit for you. So step 1 every time, and follow these strategies because you know it'll help you out later on, is when you see the parallel, I want you to shade in between. And remember, what's this called? This is our interior. Okay, so our interior angles are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, exterior 1, 2, 7, and 8. So when we're looking at this, I want you to understand these vocabulary words. Okay, so alternate interior. So think about the word alternate. Okay, alternate just means one side and the other. If you're sitting alternate, you're sort of sitting like opposite of each other in a way. So alternate just means it's not on the same side as the transversal line. Okay, so let's label this again here with an arrow. This is the transversal. Okay, and then we have all these different angles. So let's go ahead and walk through some of these. So alternate interior. So the first thing that we said is the word interior. So it means we're only looking on the inside. So if I look at 3, okay, where is the number that's interior, but it's alternate to it, okay? And so what I want you to see is alternate interior is this one here, okay? Now, you might be thinking, well, alternate seems like it would be across there. Well, we know that can't be alternate interior because those are called adjacent, okay? And that's something we learned in our other lessons. So those aren't alternate interior, those are adjacent angles, okay? We also know that they're called supplementary because they are the ones that form that straight line or straight angle and equal 180. So since you already know what those are called, that can't be the number we're using. So we're doing on the opposite side of the line, okay? And it's the interior one. And so this is alternate interior angles, okay? All right, so what is alternate interior angle to angle 4? We have the other side of the line is the alternate, and the interior is this. And you can sort of see, if you're just using common sense, that those are the same angle, okay? So alternate interior are equal to each other. So now let's look at alternate exterior, okay? So if we're talking about the exterior, okay, this is interior, so maybe label that, and out here is exterior. So alternate exterior, well, here's exterior, and which number is across the transversal? So it's alternate, but still on the exterior. And that is right down here, number 8. Okay, so those are alternate exterior. Why can't it be 1? Well, that's not alternate exterior because we know that these are supplementary angles. They make 180 degrees. So that can't be alternate exterior. These ones are alternate exterior. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and move on now. We can see that angle 4 equals angle 6. So here's my alternate interior. And what else is equal? Well, angle 3 is equal to angle what? Good. If you thought or said 5, great job. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some other things. Here are the symbols that you're going to use to say things are equal to each other. So when we're talking about alternate exterior now, okay, again, I want you to highlight the interior. So everyone grab your highlighter and do that. And then let's go ahead and make some labels here, okay? So alternate exterior is this angle, and it's equal to that one. So angle 1 and angle 7 are alternate. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're exterior. Now, to show that angle 2 is equal to angle 8, we do 2 little arcs. So we're showing what's equal to what, okay? And so that's how you're going to represent the alternate exterior being equal to each other. So angle 1 is equal to angle 7, okay? You can see that right here. And then angle 2 is equal to what? It's equal to angle 8. Okay, alternate exterior. All right, let's go to the next one. It says corresponding angles are angles that are in the same position. Okay, so let's highlight this. Corresponding angles, same position. Okay, and so let's go ahead and look at what that means. It says in relation to the transversal. Okay, so again, this only is true when we have the parallel lines with the transversal cutting through, okay? And so let's take a look at some corresponding angles, okay? If I said, what's corresponding with number 1, okay? Then we're gonna look at what is in the same spot as number 1, okay? That is in the same relative position to the transversal. So start off again, let's highlight the inside here, okay? So here's our interior, okay? We have angle 1, okay? And what is in the same spot as angle 1? Well, if you look, this right here, angle 5, is in the same spot as angle 1. If I zoomed in on this, you can see it's in this like top left little nook here. And if I zoomed in on this, you can see it's in the top left nook of those intersecting lines. And so that's what it means they're in the same position. It's just shifted down a little bit. Okay, and so those are called corresponding. They're in the same position relative to that transversal. Okay, so that means directly to the left of the transversal, okay, and directly above one of the parallel lines. Okay, and that's why they're in the same spot. So angle 1 is with angle 5, okay, is equal to it. So let's use our symbols with this now. So angle 1 is equal to angle 5, okay? Angle 2, so let's go ahead and do double lines here. Angle 2 is corresponding to which one? Which one's in the same spot? If you said 6, you're right. Double lines there, okay? And then we have angle 3. So let's do like 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, is equal to angle 7. Okay, because it's in the same spot, okay? And then angle 4 is equal to which one? Angle 8. Good job, okay? All right, let's go down to example 1 now. So we're going to start getting into that like puzzly mode soon, but first we have to continue practicing this vocabulary, okay? So I want you to classify the relationships. So angle 1 and angle 7. Okay, so if you look at those, let's go ahead and highlight them. Okay, so here's angle 1, here's angle 7. Okay, grab another color again and shade in between the parallel. So right off the bat, when we look at this, my first question to you is, are these interior or exterior? Okay, if they're both interior or both on the outside exterior, you know which one it is. And so we have the 1 and the 7, they're outside of the parallel, so they're exterior. And are they on the opposite sides of the transversal? Remember, this is the transversal. Yes, they are. So this is alternate, and you can just do ALT, but I do want you to write exterior. So alternate exterior. Okay, let's go down here and take a look at this. Okay, so first of all, shade the interior. So find your parallel lines. Go ahead and shade them in, okay? And let's look at what they're talking about. What's the relationship? Classify the relationship between angle 2 and 4. So let's circle angle 2 and angle 4. So first question is, are they both on the exterior? No, okay? Are they both on the interior in the shaded? No. So these ones, are they both in the same position? Okay, relative to the transversal and those parallel lines? Yes, they are. Okay, so this one is right here above that. This one's right here above that. To the right of that parallel, to the right of that parallel. So you can see it's in the same spot. It's just sort of translated or shifted over. So these are corresponding angles, or let's put in parentheses, same location, okay, or same spot is something else we could write, okay, to remember that. All right, let's go ahead and look at example 2. What's the relationship between angle 2 and angle 6? Start off by shading in between your parallel, okay, and you're going to turn this in, and I expect to see this done. No being lazy. All right, so there's my interior. So let's identify 2 and 6. So here's 2 and here's 6. So ask yourself the questions. Are they both on the interior? No. Are they both on the exterior? Well, no, they're both not outside of the shaded. So these have to be corresponding, right? Okay. And we know they're corresponding because the 2 and the 6 are in the same position. They're just shifted across those parallel lines there. Okay, so angle 2 and angle 6 are in the, and let's write same position on the 2 lines. So they are corresponding angles. All right, so you go ahead and try this. Let's hit pause on the video, please. Try it out, write it down, and see what you got. And then someone hit unpause. All right, so let's see how you did. Relationship between 4 and 5. Hopefully you have the interior shaded. And then let's go ahead and make 4 and 5 stand out. And let's see what you got. All right. Are they both on the exterior? Yes, they are. And so there we go. We have alternate exterior. Okay, if you got that, great job. If not, go ahead and fix. All right, let's take a look at the learn together. Finding missing angle measures. So this is where we get very, very puzzly. And it's one of my favorite things is to solve these little puzzles and figure things out. So they want us to complete all the missing angle measures in the table. So literally find the angle of every single one. Okay, so they give us some already if you look down here. Okay, angle 1 and so on. So angle 1, and like I've told you before, it's really good to label things. Okay, so we have 105, and we're just going to start there. Okay, so if I know that angle 1 is 105, let's go ahead and again shade your interior. Okay, so if I know angle 1 is 105, what are some other ones that I know? Okay, so let's start with this. Okay, we could do alternate exterior, right? Okay, so the exterior one on the other side of the transversal. So where is that? Shout it out. What number? If you said 8, you are right. Okay, so 8 is 105 also. It's alternate exterior. So we can go ahead and write that down for here. Okay, make sure you put your degree symbol. All right, if we know that, okay, we could do, let's look at, we also know that 2 is 75. So let's put 75 degrees here for number 2. Okay, so I'm going to pick a different color here. We could do alternate exterior for number 2, right? So which is the alternate on the exterior of number 2? Shout it out if you know it. All right, if you said 7, nice job. So this is 75 degrees. Alternate exterior are equal to each other. So we know angle 7 is 75 degrees. Now we just need 5 and 6, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and look back at this 105. Can you find the corresponding, meaning it's in the same position, just a little lower in the parallel lines? Where's the corresponding one? Tell your partner real quick which number that is. All right, if you said 5, you are right. That's the corresponding one. It's in the same position. Okay, so number 5 is 105. And then what is 6? Well, you could look at it by looking at the supplemental angle, or if we look at number 2 here, okay, number 2 is 75. What's the corresponding to angle 2? Number 6 is the corresponding. It's in the same position, so we know that this is 75 degrees as well. Okay, so you can see it's really neat to be able to move things around and figure all that out. Okay, all right, so it says down here, okay, in this next one, if you know the measure of one angle, you can use your knowledge of supplementary and vertical to find the measure of the 3 angles that are along the same line. So not only can we now use our alternate exterior and alternate interior and corresponding, we also know about vertical angles and supplemental angles as well. Okay, and so let's go ahead and list some things here. It says, suppose that angle 1 is 50 degrees. Okay, how do we know that the measurement of, because the measure of angle 2 is 130, okay, how do we know that angle 2 has to be 130? Well, because angle 1 and angle 2 are, what do we call that when you have 2 angles on a straight line? They are called what? Complementary or supplemental? Supplementary angles. Okay, remember C is corner, S is straight. Okay, and now you know how to spell the word straight. So we have supplementary. So go ahead and write that down. They're supplementary. All right, it says the measurement of angle 3 is 50. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase some of this stuff here. How do you know that the measurement of angle 3 is 50? Okay, because angle 1 and 3 are what kind of angles? Remember, here's our X. Okay, so what kind of angles are those? They are vertical. vertical angles. And remember, vertical angles are equal to each other. All right, let's go ahead and erase that now, clear up our workspace here. The measurement at angle 4 we know is 130 degrees. How do you know that? It says because angle 1 and angle 4 are what? Okay, well, they're both sitting on this straight line here, right? And they're adjacent to each other. And we know they equal 180 degrees. So what are they if they are sitting on this straight line and are adjacent to each other? They are straight is supplementary. Okay, all right, good job. All right, before we go to this, I feel like you need just a little bit of brain break so you can test your luck out with this, all right? So this is a audio thing, and we'll see how you do, okay?
As you age, you lose the ability to hear high frequencies. So take this hearing test, and when you stop hearing the sound, I want you to pause the video. And this number right here is the age of your ears. Let's go.
I just lost it.
We're going to test how old...
All right. I don't know. How'd you do? Did you make it all the way to the end? I know I didn't, but anyway. All right, here we go. Example 3, finding missing angle measures. They're going to give you information, and it is your job to problem solve and figure out these other pieces with all of your knowledge about angle positions in relationship to different intersecting lines. So here we go. They're letting you know that line A is parallel to line B. Okay, that's important information. That way we know we have parallel lines with, what's this called again? It's called a transversal, okay? And so that means that we can pay attention to alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding, okay? But we know we also have vertical angles, and we know that we have supplementary angles, okay? So there's a lot going on that we can figure out here. All right, so if measurement of angle 2 is 105. So definitely I want you to be labeling it, okay? Find measurement of angle 6 and the measurement of angle 3, okay? So we have to find 6 and 3, okay? So let's go ahead and figure some things out here. Talk to your partner real quick and tell me about this. What is true about angle 2 and angle 6? What kind of angles are they? They're adjacent and they create a straight line. All right, if you said supplementary, you're right. So we know this whole thing is 180 degrees. 180 minus 105, what do you get? Again, you can do the mental math with it, and that's fine. But I think when you're doing a lot of math work, we don't want to accidentally make any silly mistakes. So it is always good to check your work and your thinking. And so we know angle 6 is 75 degrees. Okay, so we're good with that. And then I'm going to sort of clear my workspace here so that I can continue working and thinking. All right, now let's go ahead and figure out angle 3. Okay, and so right now, here's 6 and here's 3. What is true about this? This is one of our new ones. Okay, are they alternating, and are they on the inside or interior? Yes, they are. So those are alternate interior. So that means they're equal to each other. So we can go ahead and label angle 3 as 75 degrees. Okay, so part A, since angle 2 and 6 are supplementary, the sum of their measure is 180 degrees. Okay, so we can say angle 6 is 75 degrees. Okay. All right, let's find Measurement angle 3, we already did that. It says they're interior and they're on the opposite sides of the transversal. So since they're alternate interior, their measures are, and we can say equal. Okay, so angle 3 is 75 degrees. Okay, all right. So you can go ahead and try this one out. So hop over the iPad, pause it, and try this out independently or with your partner, and then you can hit play and see how you did. All right, look at that. Ariana's house. Spelled a little bit different, but still pretty special. Ariana's house has porch stairs shown here. Line M is parallel to line N. That way you know that you can follow those transversal rules. Let's find your interior, which is right here. I always am going to highlight those. All right, and let's see how you did. Measurement angle 7 is 35. Okay, this is on the exterior. We need to find measurement of angle 1 and measurement of angle 2. I'm going to start off with the measurement of angle 2. Why do you think that's a good one to start off with? Well, they're alternate exterior. So they are on the opposite side of the transversal and they're both on the outside. So I know that they're the same. So that's nice and easy to plug that in. And then I know these make the 180 degree supplementary angles. And so all I have to do now is 180 minus 35, and we've got 145 degrees for angle 1. Okay, so hopefully you did well with that. There you go. All right, let's go ahead to example 4. Line M is parallel to line N. Why are they telling us? Because they're letting us know that we can use those alternate interior-exterior corresponding rules. Okay, all right, the measure of angle 1 is 40. It's the only one they're telling us is 40 degrees right there, except we do see that little 90 degree. Now, this is your first one where you see you have transversals running 2 different directions. Sometimes you're going to pay attention to the one, sometimes you'll pay attention to the other one, depending on what angle you're looking at. Just be careful, okay? All right. So it says, what is the measure of angle 7? And so this is the one that we want, okay? All right. So if we're trying to figure out 7, we're going to have to make our way over there. And this is where it gets really logic and puzzly. A lot of fun if you start to own those different rules. So let's work our way over there and start to think through this. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make this transversal stand out. And I sort of want to ignore this in a way and just try to see if that helps me think through this, okay? So I know that angle 1 is here. So let's start looking at like alternate exterior and things like that. We can look at corresponding. So what would be corresponding with 1? Well, corresponding with 1 would be 3. So I could sort of use that information to help me, okay? Because I know this is in the same position, so that's 40 degrees. Remember, what's cool is there's lots of ways to get to the solution, okay? This is just one of the ways. Your brain might be thinking something different. So now, if I know this is 40, I know that the angles on this line equal 180, right? They're the supplementary angles, those adjacent ones on a straight line. So that means that angle 8, which is 90, and angle 7, which would be like X, and angle 40, they all should add up to 180, right? So that's one way I could think of it. I could say X plus 90 plus the 40 have to equal 180, okay? So we could do it that way to figure it out, okay? Let's look at another way, okay? If I get rid of all this stuff here, I'm going to shade my interior again. I could do something like this. So look at this. What kind of angles are these? They're both on the exterior and they're alternating across the transversal. So I know these are equal. They're alternate exterior. If I know that, look, now I know these angles are on the 180. And so we still have 90 and a mystery X. Okay, and so it works out both ways, a couple different ways. There might be even other ways to tackle that. okay? All right, let's go ahead and set up this equation, okay, as a sum of angles that equal 180. First thing is combining like terms. Okay, so there we go with that. 90 plus 40, we have x plus 130 equals 180. Okay, how do we isolate the variable? Let's subtract 130 on both sides. And we end up with x equals, what is 180 minus 130? You end up with 50. Okay, so that just is what x equals is 50. Let's make sure that we're correct if you plug that in. So 50 plus 90 plus 40 equals 180. Okay, and so we're good. So x equals 50, and that's 50 degrees. Okay, so let's say angle, or 7 equals 50 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and try it out on here. So hit pause and go ahead and mess with this one. Look, it looks super messy. Find the transversal that maybe you don't need to pay attention to as much, okay? Imitate off of what you saw up there. Go ahead and work independently or with your partner, and then unpause when you've had a couple minutes to explore this. All right, so step 1, I'm going to shade my interior parallel lines, okay? All right, second, I'm gonna look at which transversal do I sort of not wanna pay attention to. And I'm sort of gonna ignore this one, I feel like, because it has less angles on it that I'm working with. But let's go ahead and see, we can always change our mind. The information they give us is that angle 7 is 125, so let's see, make sure you labeled that. Okay, now we need to go ahead and find out angle 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some problem solving and work our way around. Okay, so let's see, where can we go from number 7? We could look at, we could look at alternate, maybe we should look at corresponding angles. Let's see. If I look at corresponding angles, where would that be? The corresponding angle would be both of these combined, so that doesn't really help me yet. So let's figure out some other ones. Other than, I know that this here equals 90, so those both together equal 90. Let's sort of work our way around some other spots here. Can we figure out what 8 is? Okay, I know 7 is 125, and it's sitting on this 180 degree line. Okay, so I think we can figure out what 8 is, and then maybe that'll help us move around. So like I said, there may be different ways that you did this, yours. I'm gonna show you one way. So 8 is 55 degrees, okay? Now that I know 8, okay, what is angle 3 here? Okay, if you look, it's in the same position, okay? It's this direction of the transversal, and it's above the parallel. Number 3 is above the parallel, and this way of the transversal. If they're in the same position, okay, what are they? They're called corresponding angles, okay? And that means angle 3 is also 55 degrees, okay? Now I think I can use that information to figure this out a little bit, because I know that this is 90, and then I have a mystery angle, and then I have 55, and I know that whole thing equals 180 degrees. So here's my variable x. So let's go ahead and solve this out now. We have 90 plus x plus 55 equals 180. Don't forget, you don't want to start subtracting yet. You'll still get the right answer, but when we're doing math like this, you want to simplify and combine like terms first. So we have our 90 plus 55 is 145. And so we have 145 plus x equals 180. Go ahead and start isolating your variable. We're doing opposite order of operations, just like normal. And we have x equals 180 minus 145, and you get 35 degrees. Okay, do a quick check. So 55 plus 35 plus 90, and there we go. We get that 180 degree straight line. Okay, so the hardest thing probably here is just looking and trying to ignore different transversals that we don't care about as much. All right, let's go ahead and check out this. The only difference is we have some expressions with variables built in. Otherwise, it's the same idea. Okay, so let's do our apply work here. Step one is going to be identifying some things like, okay, line A is parallel to line B. That means we can pay attention to our alternate interior, exterior, things like that. So I'm going to highlight my interior, okay, which is right there. And the information they give us is that measurement of angle 1 is 16x. So here's 16x, okay? And measurement of angle 2 is 10x plus 30. So this is 10x plus 30. And I'm going to put that in parentheses for right now, okay? Because that technically is degrees, right? Okay, those things as degrees. And then find measurement of angle 3, okay? So a couple things that we know, right? We know that 10x plus 30 and the angle 3 have to equal 180 degrees, okay? So this is our mystery amount, okay, which is x. And then we have, let's see, we also know actually, here's what we know. Because this is a vertical angle, right? It makes the cross here. Our vertical angle, we know that this is 16x, okay? And so that's really the key for us to unlock this, is understanding that. Because now I know that these two adjacent angles that are supplementary equal 180 degrees, okay? And we can go ahead and solve this now. So we have a 16x plus a 10x plus 30 equal 180 degrees, okay? Because they're supplementary to each other. Let's go ahead and solve this out, okay? What do I need to do first? Combine like terms. So get your highlighter out. We have 26x plus 30 equals 180 degrees, okay? Let's go ahead and do opposite order of operations, SAD-MERG, any addition, subtraction first. And we have 26x equals 180 minus 30 is 150 degrees, okay? We can get rid of the degrees when we're doing our actual equation work, okay? And then we're going to divide both sides by 26. And we get x equals whatever that is, 150 divided by 26. Let's see what we get. A crazy number here. So 5.769 something. So let's go ahead and think through this a little bit. 10x plus 30, 26, 30 minus 30, 150. Okay, let's see. If we plug this into check, okay, so we're saying 16 times 150 26 plus 10 times 150 26 plus 30 should equal 180. Let's see if that works, but we're going to want to pull out Desmos on this one. All right, let me make it bigger so we can see it. Okay, let's test it out. This is making me seem like we did something wrong here, but let's go ahead and check and see. 150 divided by 26, close parentheses, plus 10 times, in parentheses, 150 divided by 26, close parentheses, plus 30. Okay, equals 180 degrees. So that odd, annoying fraction supposedly is our answer. So x equals 150/26. Okay, so there we go, I guess. Okay, that seems really obnoxious and annoying, but is what it is. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So measurement of angle 3 equals 150/26. Okay, moving on. All right, let's go ahead and try out the check. Okay, here's the information they give you. A is parallel to line B, which we know. Measure of angle 1 is 5x plus 24. So let's go ahead and list that right there, 5x plus 24. That's how many degrees that is. They want you to find, they're saying the measure of angle 2 is 7x degrees. Okay, find the measurement of angle 1. Oh, they want you actually find I was going to say it's 5x plus 24. They want you to find the actual number measurement. So let's go ahead and highlight our interior. I better pick a different color. Here's our interior. Okay, so what is true about 1 and 2? What kind of angles are they? What relationship do they have? Well, they're both on the outside or the exterior, right? And are they alternating? Yes, they are. So they're alternate exterior angles, and we know that they are equal to each other. So let's go ahead and set up the equation. So we have 5x plus 24 equals 7x. Okay, go ahead and solve for x. Okay, let's go ahead and start moving some things around. So in this case, we don't want to subtract 24 to both sides. That's sort of a waste of time. Remember, we want to get x's all onto one side. So let's go ahead and actually subtract 5x to move it over there. Okay, and so moving it over there, just subtracting 5x, we'll throw it over there, and we have 24 equals 2x. Okay, then we can go ahead and separate the 2 from x by dividing 2 on both sides. And let's see what we're left with. We're left with x equals 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay, so if x equals 12, remember, angle 1 is not 12 degrees. We need to plug that in to x. Okay, so what is 5 times 12? Okay, well, 5 times 12, if you don't know that multiplication, then you type it in. 12 times 5 is 60 plus 24 equals 84. So what is the measure of angle 1? The measure of angle 1 equals 84 degrees. Okay, and to make sure that's true, this should be 84 as well. Okay, and so again, 12 times 7, there you go, 84. Okay, and so it checks out. All right, let's head to your practice homework. Okay, for exercises 1 and 4, you're just going to classify what they are called. So for example, what is angle 2 and 7? Okay, start off by highlighting your interiors. Okay, so what is 2 and 7? Well, they're on the interior and they're alternating across the transversal. So we're going to write that they are alternate interior. Okay, so go through 2, 3, and 4. Okay, number 5, they're giving you some information about different measurements, and they want you to find the measurement of angle 2 and angle 3 if you know that angle 1 is 60 degrees. Okay, so again, though, I want you in that habit where you're highlighting the interior angles and labeling things that you know. So this is 60 degrees. They're asking, well, use your information to figure out the other. Don't get tricked by all these triangles. You sort of want to ignore all them. They're just part of a picture. Okay, so see how you do with that. You can work with your partner with those as well. Okay, number 6, the measure of angle 3 is 58 degrees. Okay, what is the measurement of angle 7? So pay attention to which transversal you probably sort of want to ignore with your eyes. And again, highlight your interior between the parallel lines. Okay, all right. The symbol below is an equal sign with a slash through it, or it's a parallel with transversal. Okay. It says if measurement of angle 1 is 108 degrees, classify the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2. Okay, then find angle 2. So classify means say what the actual type of relationship is. Are they alternate exterior, alternate interior, corresponding, vertical, supplementary, that kind of thing. Okay, but then actually say what is the measurement of angle 2. All right, number 8, line M and N are parallel. Select all the statements that are true. So start by highlighting, and then you can identify what's true of those. All right, head to the next page. Number 9 and 10 are going to be similar to the applies that we did. Number 9, the unique thing is there's no image. Okay, so let's think through this one a little bit. Angles A and B are corresponding angles formed by two parallel lines. So we want to draw the two parallel lines so that you can see what's going on here. So here's my parallel lines. Okay, I can say they're parallel by putting two arrows on them, even if I draw them crappy. And it's cut by a transversal. I don't know where the angle of the transversal, so you just make something up. Okay. All right. So angles A and B, they're corresponding. Corresponding means the same position. So I'm just going to put an A here. And where's the same position if I put A there? Well, the same position is right here for B. Okay. And they're saying angle A is 4x and angle B is 3x plus 7. Okay. So find the value of x. I didn't really need to draw it because I know corresponding angles are equal to each other. Okay, so really we're just doing 4x equals 3x plus 7 and solving. Okay, but remember this is something a little bit new to you. Remember the first thing we're going to do is subtract 3x to both sides because we want to move the x's together. Okay, all right, and then you can play with number 10 and see if you can figure that one out as well. Okay, all right. There's a couple more down here that are really important that I want you to look at. It says, determine the measure of W and construct an argument that can be used to defend your solution. So I do want you to mess with, see if you can figure out what W is. Okay, just with all your knowledge of things, take notice that we don't have parallel lines, we don't have transversals. We do have, it looks like an X here. Okay, but there's nothing in between the X there. So you're going to have to toy around with some different things that you know to help you figure out maybe what W is. Don't assume, I don't think there's any 90 degrees there, so don't assume there is. Always prove it. And then the last one is, it's an error analysis one. They're finding the measure of angle 5. Okay, and they concluded that angle 5 is 86 degrees because it's corresponding with angle 2. Find her mistake and correct it. Okay, so they know that angle 2 is vertical, so angle 2 is 86. So they're saying angle 5 is 86 because they're corresponding. Is that true or not true? Explain what the error is, but also fix it. Okay, all right, there you go. That's your homework. Go ahead and work on that with a partner independently, and then we can talk about it more the next lesson because I know it's a lot of stuff.